So the Boo Birds were out when King Charles was doing his stroll. Linda Steele, I think you are pulling out the strawberries and whipped cream and your biscuits or crumpets or what is it for the coronation
No,
of
not.
King Charles?
Actually, I kind of thought to myself that I was the only Canadian who didn't really give a rat's rear end of it. King Charles. I certainly don't care much about Camilla because I
loved the Queen.
Loved, the Diana thing.
Yeah,
What?
I loved the Queen.
Oh, I love the Queen too. But
Right.
now that she's gone, I'd be happy if the whole monarchy was gone. That's just me.
It's okay. You're allowed to have an opinion.
There's a poll out, though.
Is there?
And our next guest knows all about it because Shachi Kurl is the president of the Angus Reid Institute. Hi, Shachi.
You sweet lady.
But did you bring us cookies?
Did I bring you cookies?
You're famous for cookies. But she's famous for cookies.
Oh, okay.
Shachi is famous for cookies for everybody.
Y'all get a cookie at the end of this.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
With a crown on it.
That's
Hi.
right. Hi.
So are you a fan of the monarchy? Of
Well,
King
it's
Charles?
not for me to say, my dear, because my opinions are that of Canadians.
Okay.
I mean, of course I have my own.
Yes.
But yes.
That happens on your patio with a glass of wine. On this set, you are representing Angus Reid.
Well, I'm representing the data that we bring.
Oh, and the data is that people are kind of like, meh, when it comes to Charles.
Yeah, they're very wah-wah. They are. Look, so is it any great surprise? No, that we see that a plurality and more of Canadians have an unfavorable view of the king. That 60% of Canadians say that Camilla should not have the word queen in her title at all.
I agree with that.
I agree.
Not my queen,
I do.
not our queen. That's what Canadians are telling us. You want to know what I think? I'm there too. Okay. My queen was Queen Elizabeth II.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe if our current monarch hadn't done the dirty on his wife.
Right, Diana, the much beloved, most
And I think
beloved.
they were sort of hoping that people would have forgotten that, but then there was The Crown, and then there was the Netflix series, and there was Spare, and nobody ain't ever gonna forget that because she was so tall and pretty and so
I've never even
regal.
watched The Crown. I have not read The Spare.
But you were
and
around for it.
I still will never look at Camilla and think, you're the queen, you deserve the crown, because of how that all went down. Even though it was Queen Elizabeth, I think it was Queen Elizabeth's ask.
It was her dying or almost end of life Christmas wish.
To make Camilla the queen?
Yes.
Okay, but here's the thing. I'm okay. I'm happy they're happy together. I'm not, not
Fair.
happy that they're having
Agreed.
this good relationship. But in The Spare, which is Harry's memoir,
Yeah.
there was, this is according to him, of course, so take it with a grain of salt, claims that Camilla interfered to try to get bad press to make Harry and Meghan look bad or to make Charles and Camilla look better. I mean, I don't know. So people don't really love Camilla either.
Okay, so a couple things. First of all, when you ask Canadians, as I do on a fairly regular basis, like, what do you care the most about? What's going on in your lives? What's preoccupying you? And it ain't none of these Windsor people. It's not the royals.
It's the economy, maybe?
It's the economy. It's the cost of housing.
Yeah.
It's the cost of living. It's health care.
It ain't
none of these Windsor people.
That's going in season 2's promo.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
However, there is a coronation. There is a last time it happened was 7 years ago. So we're asking Canadians, as we have done, not just about like the celebrity tittle tattle, who's up, who's down, who's hot, who's not of the royal family, but really also the serious 50,000 foot questions about the crown and the king sit atop of our governance structure in this country, right? So that's the supreme thing. Right? We swear our oaths and our allegiances, but more than that, the way government works is it's not about individual politicians who have all the power. The power is invested in the crown. So it's a governance structure. And when you ask Canadians, okay, so should Canada continue as a monarchy for generations and generations to come? The split or the tilt is actually 2-1. So 52% of Canadians say no. When we think out 40, 50, 70 years from now, we actually do not think Canada needs to continue to be a constitutional monarchy.
Right.
1 in 4, about 27% say yes. So it's 52 to 27%. So almost about 2-1 say dump it.
Right.
Here's the thing. Dumping it ain't that easy.
No, I was going to say, for what?
Yeah.
Like, what then does it look like, and who decides?
We can't even have that conversation until we get to opening up the Constitution.
Oh my goodness. Nobody wants to do that.
And every time Canadian politicians have attempted to open up the Canadian Constitution, they have rued the day.
Yes.
It has not gone very well for them. So the formula of changing this, the requirements to change it, are such an opening of the proverbial Pandora's box that find me a living politician today who, even if they're total closet Republicans, will say like, yeah, let's dump it. No, it's all like,
yeah,
because they don't want everything that comes with it.
Right.
Indigenous reconciliation, the Quebec question, sovereignty, all of the things that come with changing the Constitution, which is like kryptonite to Canadian politicians today.
Yeah.
Kryptonite for Canadian politicians right now could be the other Angus Reid poll that you put out just today.
People.
Linda flagged this one, right? Do you want to set this up?
Okay, well, we have PSAC workers on strike, and a lot of people thought it was going to be a quick strike, and here we are on week 2 with sort of no sign of it slowing down.
Taxes.
And now you've gone to the people and said, how do we feel about federal workers? Are they paid adequately? What did you find out?
So this is an interesting one because, again, a majority of Canadians, almost 2/3, feel that federal workers, these striking Public Service Alliance of Canada workers, are either compensated either adequately or overpaid.
Oh.
Okay, but at the same time, when you break down a lot of their individual contract demands, their asks, things like the right to enshrining the right to work from home, or extra pay for working an overnight shift, or a pay increase. And by the way, half of Canadian workers, whether they're union members, private union members, or not union members at all, half have not had a raise in the last year.
Yeah.
So interestingly, what we're seeing is despite the fact that Canadians tend to view these public sector union members as not exactly underpaid. Only 17% believe that they're underpaid. They also see them a little bit as the tip of the spear or the vanguard into the next round of conversations that maybe they have with their own employers. Whereas my 4.5% right to work from home.
I'll have that
exactly.
9%
Oh, they fought for it. I want
federal
that
workers
too.
Don't. Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you this though, because I wonder if the longer this goes on, we're pushing toward a back to work legislation scenario potentially, and then Jagmeet Singh, the NDP leader, is in a pickle because he's already walked the picket line.
Oh, they're all in a
with them.
pickle. There's gherkins all around on this
Gherkins
one.
all around. Okay, but a lot of people say Jagmeet Singh has cried wolf a million times. Oh, I better do this, or
propping up the Liberals.
So what are they going to do? Because are they going to break this?
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Justin Trudeau would rather take another Jamaican vacation than order these people back to work.
I know.
Because actually, when you look at public sector union workers and how they voted in the last election, most of them, the biggest group of them, voted Liberal.
Right.
And then the rest of that vote was interestingly split between Jagmeet Singh and the NDP and the Conservatives.
Yeah.
Right.
So all the leaders have something to lose from this. I think, just my gut, bring me back here next week to, you were wrong, young lady. I think this actually, there's little sign of it ending anytime soon because the workers now have, they're feeling a bit of swagger. They're feeling that bit of flex in terms of Canadian support for their demands.
And they're still getting paid.
And the leaders, Justin Trudeau can't afford to be the guy that ordered them back to work.
Right.
Jagmeet Singh can't be the guy who does anything other than stands in solidarity with them on the picket line, because that's all he can really do.
Right.
Yeah.
And Pierre Poilievre has to walk this one very carefully too, because he too is trying to woo union workers.
Right.
So they're all sitting there kind of po-faced on this one.
And meanwhile,
Checking to see.
just today I got an email from a Czech viewer on the island who's saying, can't get a passport, has a big family function, a whole trip that's going down. And was like, so now the rubber's hitting the road
I
here.
think it gets worse for both sides before it gets better. I think right now they're quite happy to float another week or so when we all start saying, for those of us who might be getting a tax refund, where my check at?
Yeah. Come
Where
on,
my
money?
passport at?
Yeah. Because we're counting down to it. Deadline day is Monday.
Coming.
1st of May, 1st of May.
If you haven't filed your taxes yet,
if you're not as diligent and ahead of it as Shachi Kurl, the president of Angus Reid, is.
I gotta be
I
organized.
sent my money already to the government. Darn it, I wish I wouldn't have done it so quick.
Send us to our final segment of the day. Stick around because this next one is a fun one.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
We'll see you next week.
She's coming back.
Yeah, we'll see her next week when we're like, hey, wait a second.
What happened there?
Shachi, president of Angus Reid Institute. All right, coming up next. What is wrong with people? A taxi driver got punched in the head for taking a wrong turn.
A wrong turn.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with people is next.